Africa's Rift Valley, a continent splitting faster than expected. Imagine a piece of land so immense it could one day rival continents like North America or Australia. Well, that's what's in store for East Africa, eventually. Scientists now believe the eastern edge of the African continent is breaking away much faster than previously predicted. What once seemed like a geologic change that would unfold over tens of millions of years might actually happen within a mere 1 to 5 million years. Blink in geologic time, and a new ocean could appear where the East African Rift Valley (EAR) currently sits. A crack in the continent. The first major clue that Africa was starting to tear itself apart came in 2005 when a massive 35-mile-long crack emerged in Ethiopia's Afar region. This area is a hotbed of tectonic activity, sitting right on the East African Rift. Scientists believe the EAR is one of the rare places on Earth where tectonic plates are actively pulling apart. Think of it as nature's slow-motion version of ripping a piece of fabric. Ken McDonald, a geophysicist and professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara, explained that the forces at work in the Rift Valley mirror those that form the Atlantic Ocean. What might happen is that the waters of the Indian Ocean would come in and flood what is now the East African Rift Valley, he told Daily Mail. In the long term, this new ocean could grow as deep and expansive as the Atlantic itself. The birth of the Nubian continent. When the tectonic plates finally part ways, a new landmass will emerge, what scientists are calling the Nubian continent. This future land will include parts of Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, and roughly half of Ethiopia. It's the ultimate real estate makeover, courtesy of tectonic plate activity. But don't pack your bags just yet. While these changes are speeding up compared to earlier estimates, they're still happening on a timeline that feels like an eternity to us humans. McDonald emphasized that, for now, you'll be feeling earthquakes, you'll be seeing volcanoes erupt, but you won't see the ocean intrude in our lifetimes. The science behind the rift. The EAR is being tugged apart by two major tectonic plates, the Somali Plate and the Nubian Plate. As they move away from each other, cracks and faults emerge, triggering earthquakes and volcanic eruptions along the way. In the last couple of decades, scientists have made strides in mapping these tectonic boundaries. While the northern portion of the rift, stretching through Djibouti and into Kenya, was relatively well understood, the southern section had long been a mystery. Now, thanks to advanced geological research, scientists have a clearer picture of how the rift extends further south. The Geological Society of London attributes much of the activity to heat from the Earth's mantle, specifically the asthenosphere, a ductile layer beneath the crust. Heat flow in regions like Kenya and Ethiopia has thinned the lithosphere, the Earth's rigid outer layer, allowing molten rock to bubble closer to the surface. Earthquakes, volcanoes, and cracks galore. One dramatic reminder of the rift's tectonic chaos occurred in 2018 when heavy rains in Kenya caused a massive fissure to open up, swallowing roads and farmland. Events like this will likely become more common as the plates continue their slow-motion divorce. In addition to Kenya, regions like Uganda, Tanzania, and even southern Congo are feeling the effects. According to a study published in Frontiers in Earth Science, these areas show unique patterns of volcanic and seismic activity. Researchers noted high-density anomalies in the lithosphere, suggesting that the crust is thinning and melting in spots. This creates the conditions for volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and eventually the birth of a new ocean. And it's not just Africa that's undergoing a makeover. Madagascar, which already sits as an island nation, is predicted to break apart into two smaller islands as tectonic forces reshape the region. What does this mean for us? For the average person, all this tectonic activity may seem like a fascinating but far-off concern. But for those living near the rift, it's a daily reality. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are common in the region, and infrastructure is often at risk. And while the idea of a new ocean sounds exciting, it also raises questions about how such changes will impact ecosystems, weather patterns, and even the geopolitical landscape. Why is this rift so unique? There's a reason scientists are so fascinated by the East African Rift. It's one of the very few places on Earth where we can watch tectonic plates pulling apart in real time, Most of the world's rift zones are hidden beneath oceans, making them much harder to study. The however, is right out in the open. This gives researchers a rare opportunity to study how continents split, oceans form, and the Earth's crust evolves over millions of years. Final thoughts. While you won't wake up tomorrow to find an ocean in your backyard, unless you live in Afar, of course, the East African Rift serves as a reminder of how dynamic and ever-changing our planet is. It's a story of destruction, creation, and transformation on a scale that's hard to wrap your head around. As for me, I'm keeping an eye on the Rift, just in case I need to book a ticket to visit the world's newest continent in a few million years. After all, who wouldn't want to say they were there before Africa became two?